Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really cool trick that'll make your software testing way more efficient and a whole lot cleaner. It's called parameterization. And you know what the best part is? We're going to do it all using just native Mocha and JavaScript. Yep, no extra packages needed. All right, so first, let's talk about a problem that I am pretty sure every single developer has run into at some point. I like to call it the duplication trap. So picture this. You've got two tests for a to-do app. They're basically clones, right? The setup, the actions, the checks at the end, it's all the same. The only thing that's different is the actual to-do item. Maybe one is buy milk, the other is walk the dog. This copy-paste approach, well, it's a huge headache to maintain because if you need to change the test logic, you have to find and update it in every single spot. It's just inefficient and honestly a recipe for errors. Super frustrating, right? You end up with this bloated test suite, and it's just a total pain to update. But thankfully, there is a much better way to handle this. And that's where this elegant solution comes in. Let's talk about the power of parameterization. So what exactly is parameterization? Well, to put it simply, it's a technique that lets you run one single test over and over again, but each time with different data. So instead of writing a whole new test for every little variation, you write one single, smart test that can handle all of them. And the payoff for doing this is huge. First off, it absolutely crushes that code duplication we were just talking about. Right away, your test suite is cleaner and so much easier to maintain. But here's the real game changer. You can use this exact same technique to run your test across a bunch of different browser configurations, all automatically without having to tweak your code every time. And this is just brilliant, honestly. You don't need to go out and install some complicated third-party package to do this. All you need is your testing framework, in this case, Mocha, and a standard JavaScript function you definitely already know for each. It just keeps your project lean and simple. So, how do we actually pull this off? Let's break it down into a simple 3-step recipe that you can use in your own projects right away. Okay, first things first, you just create a simple array of objects. Each object in this array is going to hold a different test configuration, like a different browser or screen size or operating system. You can think of this array as the engine that's going to drive all your tests. All right, here is the secret sauce in 3 parts. First, you define your data in that array we just talked about. Second, and this is the key move, you wrap your entire test block inside a for each loop that goes through that data array. This is the magic that tells Mocha, hey, generate a new test for each item in this list. And finally, inside that loop, you use the data from the current item, say the browser name and version, to dynamically update your test settings on the fly. And hey, here's a fantastic little pro tip for you. You can use template literals to make your test titles dynamic. So by injecting variables like the browser and OS right into the test description, your console output is going to tell you exactly which configuration is running. It's a tiny change that makes debugging so much easier. Okay, so we have the recipe. Now for the really fun part. Let's see the payoff. Let's see how we turn one single block of code into many automated tests. And boom, there it is. We wrote one test block in our file, but when we run it, look at that. We get 3 passing tests in our results. That one piece of code automatically ran for each of the 3 browser configurations we put in our array. No manual changes, no copy pasting, nothing. And remember what I just said about those dynamic titles? This is what it looks like in action. The actual output from the console is crystal clear about which test passed, successfully adds a to-do for browser Chrome, for browser version 93, for OS Windows 10. It's perfect. The next lines would show the results for Firefox, all from that same test block. Now, this kind of organized output isn't just for your console. When you look at your test automation platform dashboard, each of those parameterized runs gets logged as its own distinct, separate test. This gives you this beautiful, clean, and totally organized view of your test results across every single configuration. So let's just step back for a second and appreciate this transformation. We moved from the old way on the left, that clunky, duplicated code that's a nightmare to maintain, and we've embraced the new way on the right, one single, elegant, and powerful test that does the work of many. It is cleaner, it's smarter, and it is so much more efficient. So we've covered the what, the why, and the how. You now have the full recipe to clean up your own test suite.
So I'll just leave you with this question. What's the very first piece of repetitive code in your project that you are going to go and transform with parameterization?